Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I really don't think that this is good enough or fair to the cruise passengers, so I think it's time to have a little bit of a rant. So a lot of people know Princess Cruise Lines is one of my favorite cruise lines. A lot of the time it's generally because I know so many great people on board. Kevin, the cruise director on the Majestic. I know Jody on the Island Princess. I know Natalie on the Diamond Princess. I know a lot of cruise directors. I know a lot of captains. I know a lot of entertainment staff members. I know a lot of people on Princess Cruise Lines, and it's kind of my style. I like good shows, good food, clean ships, and that feeling and sense of I'm home when I'm on a cruise ship. So yes, Princess is one of my favorite cruise lines. I love other cruise lines as well, but it is sometimes my go-to line. But I get accused a lot of coming down hard on some cruise lines and not other cruise lines, but there has to be something for me to come down hard on them about. Well, guess what? I have something from Princess Cruise Line that I don't think is right, and I gotta call it out a little bit because there is a cruise going into Japan. Now, if anyone has traveled to China or Japan, you know it's time consuming and an effort. It's a lot of planning. It's a long distance to fly, to travel. It's an expensive trip. You take a lot of time to plan it. This isn't one of those things that at a drop of a hat you decide, hey, next week, let's fly to Japan. Because you take time, you need to plan. It's one of those lifetime cruises sometimes. Well, people were booked on a 19-day cruise, Tokyo, return to Tokyo, on the Diamond Princess in May 16th of 2024. So less than a year from now, and 19 days. That is not a cheap cruise. That is a dream cruise, right? That's a big adventure to head off to Japan on that. Well, Princess has canceled that cruise to their guests and just notified them that all your money is going to be returned to your original card and form of payment. Doesn't mention anything about airfare. No, hopefully people haven't bought airfare and paid for them in advance, that far in advance, and can get their money back, because those are expensive flights as well. But often when you hear cancellations, it's because the ship decided, well, you know what, we need to go into dry dock. We need to do some repairs. We need to do this. Or we're moving the ship, and the ship is now going to go to a whole new area. It won't be in Japan. It's going to be doing something else, like the Celebrity Beyond is doing when it canceled its Mediterranean cruises and says now it's going to sail of the Caribbean. Those items you can say, okay, I understand they've changed the entire thing now, and that's why, you know, it's positioning, it's repairs, it's something that needed to have done with the ship, and that's why they're canceling it. You can understand those cancellations. However, this one wasn't canceled because of that. This was canceled to make money. And the way they made money was the whole ship was chartered by a group. They don't say which group or which company or anything that booked the Diamond Princess, but they sold the entire 19-day cruise to this company. Now, yes, that is a great financial win for the cruise line, right? To guarantee every cabin or a guaranteed money for a sailing. Yeah, it's really good. However, then they have their guests and they say, well, you know, we do have another 18-day sailing out of Tokyo return in June that you can go on. And I'm thinking, well, okay, they're going to really sweeten the pot. They're going to really make it tempting that here you go, you know, a good onboard credit, or we're going to upgrade your cabins on the new ship if you decide to switch over. No. None of that. In fact, what they offered is they said, if you book a cruise leaving out of Tokyo or even Singapore, okay, and you use it and book it before the 31st of August of 2024, you will get a $50 onboard credit per stateroom. $50 onboard credit. This cruise costs thousands and thousands of dollars. Your flights are going to cost thousands of dollars. Your hotel expenses. This trip is not a cheap trip to do, by no means. And by canceling this cruise and selling it to another company and canceling your cruise that you had plans with very few alternatives to jump on, there's not too many cruises out there that are going 19 days in May of next year. It's not like a Caribbean cruise. Well, okay, I can't go on Princess leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. I'll jump over on Norwegian, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Holland America, MSC. I'll jump on one of them leaving out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Orlando. It's all in the same area. It all goes to the same place. No, very few offerings in May of 2024 in Japan. And they think that a $50 onboard credit per stateroom, not per person even, per stateroom, is that sweetened deal. And that's enough to apologize for canceling your 19-day voyage because they sold your cabin to somebody else. That's basically what this means. That's like, hey, somebody made me a better offer for your balcony cabin than you're paying, so I canceled your booking and I sold it to them. Sorry about that, but hey, we made more money. You should be happy about that. And I don't think it's right. I don't think if you cancel a voyage because you sold out the ship to a company, you chartered it, well, I think your passengers deserve a little bit more compensation than strictly saying, you know what, here's a token $50 onboard credit on a 19-day cruise that some people are paying $8,000, $9,000 for. I don't understand. Normally Princess is really good. Like if their ships get canceled and everything, normally their onboard credits and offers and everything are really good. But in this case, they're just going to return your money, and if you want to book again, here's $50, but only if you book during that window, and only if you book in Japan and Singapore. They didn't even have the courtesy to offer the $50 onboard credit to anybody rebooking in 2024. They made it specifically for only 2 cities that you had to book out of. I'm sorry, Princess. I love your staff. I love your ships and everything, but in this case, your decision, I don't think is in the best interest of your passengers. And it was all about the bottom line. And I'm okay with the bottom line. Everybody needs to make money. But that doesn't mean you can't throw a bone once in a while to your passengers who you are inconveniencing for the sake of making more money. And in this case, I think you completely dropped the ball. Let me know in the comments down below. Am I out to lunch? Do you think, no, you know what, a $50 onboard credit is perfectly fair for a 19-day voyage you had planned that they canceled so they could sell your cabin to somebody else? Or yeah, $50 onboard credit just isn't right. And no cruise line, not just Princess, anybody who does something like this, you should be offering a lot more to your passengers. Maybe a 25% discount on their next cruise. Something other than a $50 token onboard credit. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, and once in a while, a bit of a rant. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.